How do you fit everything into your schedule and not get burnout? You ever wondered that? Like, I've literally wondered, how do all these people do all these things and not get burnout? Well, maybe they do. We just don't see that. We see so many things on social media where I went to do this and I went to do that. And some of the things that enter into our mind is, well, how could they afford that? Right? How in the world could they possibly do all these things and still be able to do that too? We are constantly wondering about all of these things, which means we're constantly trying to, what they say, keep up with the Jonases or the Kardashians or whoever we're talking about now, right? We're constantly trying to one-up ourselves, but it's because of those reasons. It's not because we ultimately want more. We just think that we just have this like thought process that we have to. That's kind of how we've been conditioned. We are also on this path, if you are a parent especially, you're also on this path of, I want to give my kids more than what I had when I was younger. So we're constantly trying to put more pressure on ourselves. So we're not actually doing what we ultimately want to do. We're just trying to get by. Sounds a bit like probably how potentially your parents also did. They're doing the best they can. You're doing the best you can, but you're constantly trying to one-up yourself, which is creating even more chaos, busy, and exhaustion. We need to take a step back. And I'm going to talk about how you do that in just a second. Hello, I'm Carolee Galt, and I'm an ADHD productivity strategist for ADHD and neurodivergent entrepreneurs for your business, your household, and your life, because they are constantly intertwined, and so we need to address all of them. So if you're new around here, that is what we do. Today I want to talk about literally how we can do all the things and not be exhausted or burn out. Well, here's a spoiler alert. We can't do all the things and not be burnout and exhausted. We can do all the things, potentially, that really light us up and not be exhausted. But if we're doing all the things and we're still exhausted, it's because they don't bring us joy. They don't serve a purpose. They are taking all of our spoons. Okay? In order to do the things, we need to make sure that we're doing things that we actually love. Now, I know that there are things in life that we have to do, like laundry and dishes, that we don't actually love, but I'm talking the grand scheme of things. We go places that we don't want to go, like voluntarily, because we feel like we have to. We have to trim down the schedule. We have to trim down the commitments. I know it sounds super scary because you're a yes person. You might be a people pleaser. I used to be that person too. You might lack some boundaries. Sorry, probably should have put trigger warning on that one. But I digress. So we need to trim down the schedule. Trimming down the schedule can look like a lot of things. Saying no to commitments, eliminating or minimizing some of the current commitments, okay? We are looking at our entire day. We're looking at our entire week, month. We are looking at the specific tasks and outings and things that we have to do in order to make things go round. What doesn't bring you joy? What doesn't serve a really, really clear purpose? And we need to reevaluate those things, okay? Because they are sucking your energy out of you, which means you can't even do the things that you want to do because you're exhausted and burnt out now. About a year ago, I finally started implementing boundaries. Man, were people upset with me. They were pissed. Because I stopped saying yes to everything. I started thinking about myself. Okay, that's not selfish. All right, we have got this thought process that if we put ourselves first or remotely first, especially as moms, that we are selfish. My goodness, I'm not a selfish person. I listen intently with no judgment. I genuinely want to support as many people as I can. How does that sound selfish? Right? But I can't do that unless I'm taking care of myself, which means I kind of have to put myself at least in the top 4, right? Preferably the top 2, 3, maybe, So, not saying you have to put yourself first all the time, but we have to make sure we're putting ourselves first a lot of the time, okay? We have to make sure we're putting our kids in there and our partner. right? Or if you don't have kids or a partner like yourself then, right? It's not always about the friends. It's not always about the job. It's not always about all these other things. It can be, but not always. We have to make sure that we are conserving our energy for what's really important, what lights us up, and what's going to give us more energy, right? More spoons. And this is going to feel completely 100% off and strange. Ask me how I know. Over this last year, though, my goodness, I could be down in the dumps, whether that's financially, physically, any of the things. My kids could be mad at me. I could have someone else mad at me. And you know what? There was far less shame around it because I'm like, you know what? The reason this is happening is because I didn't take care of myself. Now I'm failing these people and I'm failing myself and I feel like crap. And now I'm not going to be of service to anybody, especially myself, because I'm exhausted and burnout. Do you see where I'm going? I used to have this concept of I don't need to put myself first. Yeah, my kids need to come first. My husband needs to come first. Like, God needs to come first. Like, all these other things need to come first, and I'm like 100th in line. Like, my in-laws and my friends and this. And here I am, literally barely making it through the day because I am so freaking exhausted and burnout, not happy, nothing. Just all negatives. We can't continue going through life like that. We can't. And if you're that person, you're in that position right now, I witness you in this. It will be hard, and there will be people mad. And it will be rough to not just give in and go back to the old ways because it feels easier. Because it will feel easier. Because all of these other things are going to get popped up when you're going through this struggle, this transition. This transformation is real like it. When you're going through this transformation of going from everyone else is above me to I am up here and I'm going to stand my ground. I am important. Freaking, like, you're going to feel like $1,000,000. Now, I'm still in this transition, this transformation, okay? I am still here moving because I feel like this transformation just continues for a hot minute. But I am feeling so empowered because I'm making sure that my needs, what I need, is actually being taken care of. It's not saying yes to every freaking person in the world that wants me to do something for them. It's not showing up to every single family gathering that I really don't want to go to. It's not taking every little job that's handed to me and going with it. Because what happens is, like, right now, I own my own business, okay? And I could go out and get a full-time job if it was necessary. But do you know what happens? My joy depletes. I homeschool my kids, so now I have to find a babysitter for my kids. They're not old enough to watch themselves for long periods of time, right? I now have a lot more stress on my household in general, a lot more scheduling conflicts. I have a lot more things that are on my schedule that I now have to figure out. Could I make more money? I mean, I don't know, maybe depending on my situation. But do the pros outweigh the cons for your own energy and mental strength? In my case, they don't. I also you could have mental or physical restrictions as well, which I do, that make it a lot harder, okay? And I'm sure a lot of you resonate with that. If you're building your own business and you are struggling and you are making it through, you're like, but this is it. I can't go back. I feel you. I witness you in that. You are not alone. In steps, you need to look at your schedule and look at your commitments. And you need to figure out what brings you joy and what doesn't. What serves a clear purpose and what doesn't. What did you say yes to because you felt bad if you said no? Evaluate those things. Can we eliminate them? Can we minimize them? Can we cut back on them? Not make them take up as much time, which means not as many spoons. And then we can fill in those gaps. So or if those things are I still have to do them, how can we make them more purposeful? How can we make them more fun? How can we make them bring in more energy instead of suck it away? Maybe if it's going to a family gathering and it's going to be rough, maybe it's, okay, I'm going to go for an hour and that's it. Ordinarily, you'd be there for 5 and it would just suck all of your energy away. Maybe. Who knows? Right? Now you're going to go there for an hour instead. That's completely 100% okay. If that's what you need, then that's what you need. We've got to start thinking about needs here and what's going to be good for you as a person and not necessarily everyone else. So if you found this video helpful, I encourage you to leave me a comment below on what you're going to do. All right, what your thoughts are. Go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I drop one new video every single week to help support you in your business, your household, or your life.